everyone, it's Jillian, and I'm sorry about the name change on the YouTube. I just didn't feel like Jillian Creates Beeler would suit me continuing forward. So I decided on JMB Studios because I do other stuff other than art. I do YouTube from time to time. I'm trying to be more frequent about it. I knit, I craft, I draw, I don't know, I do a bunch of different things. And who knows, I might share even more in the future. But for now, I'm trying to work on a few things. Anyway, this is a drawing of the Magnificent Maiden. I thought it would be a cool idea. Sorry for not having the initial sketch being on the iPad. Like I've said in my previous video, I do little sketches and notes in my little workbook when I get the chance. So this is just one that I ended up converting into a finished piece. Anyway, I thought I'd do a story time today. We're going to talk some more about Mary Jane. For those who don't know or who don't remember, Mary Jane is a girl that went to high school with me. She was in both of my art classes, actually. Mary Jane is not her real name. Don't try and look her up. Don't try and bother her. But that's just a nickname I gave her because she always acted like she was on something. She always smelt like that substance. I have no real proof that she was on something, but I always suspected it. That's why I've given her that nickname. I believe I mentioned the next two stories, but that's okay. One time we did this foam project where we made whatever we wanted to sculpture wise out of the foam. And Mary Jane did a ladybug, where she literally cut the circle of foam in half, paper mache'd it, and then had a motivative saying live, laugh, love. I don't know if that was the exact saying, but it was something to that degree. And I did an angel with wings and stuff, and I don't remember what everyone else was doing, but someone did a modern sculpture, and someone did something else. I only remember mine and hers, and the only reason is because we were the last two people left who hadn't finished theirs. And our teacher was really nice and didn't typically give us a quote-unquote deadline. What she would typically do is, if there was one or two people left doing a project, she'd say, okay, if you're not done by this class, you turn in what you got. And I was really afraid I would not get mine done before she decided this. And Mary Jane was just piddling with hers. And my table, which it was me, Mary Jane, Carrot Head, and Snow White. Not real names, by the way. And maybe one or two other people. And they were no, Jillian, yours is pretty. Yours is actually looking really nice. You need to just finish it. Mary Jane, hers is just a ladybug. And she should have already been finished already. And I was okay, but I'm just scared of not getting it done or whatever. I should be finished by now or whatever. I guess you're your own worst critic. But Mary Jane, I guess, overheard them. I was all huffy about it. I get it. They were basically saying that my project was good and hers was bad. But I had nothing to do with it, really. But she was kind of pissy at me after that. I'm also going to be putting some art that I did in high school. I found it in my little art box, so look forward to the art blackmail. Another time we had to make something that inspired us, or make something that inspired us come to life. And I chose a kimono, and she did too, but she made hers out of, like, used coffee filters. I made mine, like, I took a Sailor Moon doll that I had and, like, some fake, like, some fabric that I had left over from something, and I hand sewed a doll dress. And I'm sure I have it somewhere with my Barbie stuff, but I worked really hard on, like, styling the doll's hair, crafting the kimono, like, trying to make it as accurate looking as possible. Like, it didn't have, like, the 3 or 4 layers of fabric that normal kimonos had. It, like, just looked like it had that many layers or whatever, but it was the best I could on the small scale and have it still look halfway decent. And considering I had never made doll clothes or anything like that, I thought it turned out really well and I got a good grade on it. And, like, Mary Jane was really pissed that we had both came up with, like, kimonos. And she wasn't, like, into, like, Japanese stuff, and everyone knew I was, like, a weeb. Like, it was not a secret. I was not a closeted weeb. So, it's not necessarily surprising that I did that. And everybody was, like, weirded out that Mary Jane had done it. She had never mentioned that she liked Japanese culture. She was not Japanese. And so we were like, why? And she's like, I don't know, I just like kimonos. Which is perfectly acceptable, but it was still kind of weird. We did a poster, like a collage one time, and we were supposed to have like 200 or over 200 images. We had to have our names, our birth dates, and, like, there shouldn't have been any white space left on the poster board. Like, those were the only requirements. And, like, most people got close to that 200. Like, I think, other than Mary Jane's, the lowest number was, like, 180 something. And I had a little over 200 images because I, like, worked for it. And Mary Jane had, like, 52 or something stupid like that. And, like, clearly not the right amount of images. And she got, like, a really low grade. But she was, like, fussing and complaining that, like, me and my little group of friends were, like, being favorited by the teacher because we all got good grades, and, like, we would share, like, images or save images for each other and, like, that sort of thing. And like, we wouldn't necessarily do that for her, even though she kind of sat with us. And it's not that we didn't welcome her or anything like that. It's just she didn't want anything to do with us, so we didn't want anything to do with her. And, like, I had the idea to paint my poster board, so I, technically speaking, wouldn't have any white. And everyone else did the same thing. And then we were gonna glue on our images on top of the colored paper. And, like, I painted mine like a light purple. Carrot Head did like a blue. I don't remember what Snow White did. I think she did like a pink color. Of course, Mary Jane, being Mary Jane, didn't paint hers. Like, she left hers completely white on the background. And with so few images, it was very clear that she had left it white. We did self-portraits at one point, which is actually the image you're seeing now. We took pictures of ourselves and then projected it with like a projector onto like the canvas. We had to use oil pastels, so don't think that like I magically got much better at art. It's technically speaking a trace, but it was like part of the assignment or whatever. And there was only a limited amount of oil pastels and only a limited colors. And I had wanted to use brown for my hair because that's my actual color. But unfortunately there wasn't enough of the oil pastels in brown to go around, because Mary Jane had hoarded the only 2 brown ones and no one else could use brown. Like, I finally got my hands on a brown one towards the very end of my project, and like I used that as like low lights in my hair, and I still think it turned out really good considering my art skills at the time, but not necessarily what I would have ended up with had I had access to brown. Like, I think I would have done like a flower field, but because of the limited colors and stuff, I ended up with space. The final frontier. In that art class, we mostly used watercolor, and we mostly had to mix our own paints. And to those who have mixed their own colors before know that it's very hard to get the exact shade you want. Particularly if you're doing like a beigey skin tone. Like, you'll either end up like too yellow or too orange or something. And I had worked really hard to get this nice skin tone, and we all had our own palettes, and like watercolor you can reactivate with like a little bit of water. And she claimed that this was an accident, but I really don't believe it was. She grabbed out my palette from the shelves, and they were like labeled with our names and stuff or whatever. And I don't care to share my paints, but not until I got done with whatever project we were working on, or at least the part that required that color. And she didn't even ask, but she claimed it was like an accident, and like I had to remix that color because she got like green in it or something, and it was just really frustrating. Which was another thing, she didn't really take good care of her palettes or her paintbrushes, and Mary Jane would sometimes steal supplies from other people or the teacher, and like we could like get our own supplies of some kind. Like, we all got like sketchbooks, and like we could order 1 or 2 other things that was like in the Jerry's Artorama book for like $12 or something like that. I think I got like some kind of fancy pencil set and maybe like a watercolor set. I don't really remember. It's been a while. And I don't have a clue what Mary Jane got, but she would steal people's stuff. I know she stole a few of my pencils that I had in that set. And it seems like she stole some of Carrot Head's like brushes at some point. Mary Jane was very hard to get along with. We were probably the only table that would let her sit with us at all. And she procrastinated with any of our projects that we had to do. She would complain about every single thing that we had to do. And like, I don't don't think she really liked art that much. I think she thought she could, like, literally just sit in there, hold a pencil, and say she was participating and get an A. And my art teacher really didn't work that way. She expected you to at least work a little bit. Like, she didn't expect you to, like it or anything like that, but she expected you to participate at least more than holding a pencil and, like, nodding your head every now and again. If Mary Jane would even nod her head sometimes. She would fall asleep in class from time to time. She would trace over a lot of her own work. Like, we could trace over, like, magazines to a certain extent, but the teacher still expected us to do, like, 90% of the work. Like, we could trace the poses. Not many people did that, but a few did. Like, Mary Jane would trace over everything. The clothes, the hair, the pose, and, like, she might add, like, some flowers or some words, but that was about it. And I don't know. I just hope she grew up. Maybe she developed some deeper appreciation to art. Let me know about some of your art experiences. Did you have a Mary Jane in your art class? 'Cause, like, Lord help you, Lord help her, God bless. And me saying that because I'm Southern makes it okay that I'm talking about her like this. Anyway, like, subscribe, all that good jazz. And I hope you have a good one.